Not gonna lie, there is a whole window of hashtag banter that exists in gaming's past. The stuff that we played as kids that we'd never go back to if there was anyone ever in the room with us, the effects of an industry forever screaming, "This is the cool and fresh thing," taking its toll on high school conversations and popularity contests. The absolutely insane, super perverted, but we just went with it, over-sexualization of everything. But hey, we were all less political back then, so why not? Gaming is escapism in the purest controllable sense. It lets us literally get away with murder, betrayal, or whatever else you can think of. It's bred a mentality where, now that many of us have lived with these mentalities and games for decades, it's easy to look back and think, just what the hell was I thinking? Only not all of these have gone away. I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 video game confessions we're not proud of. Number 10. Using online walkthroughs. For as much as I want to maintain my gamer metal through and through, the time has occasionally come when I've had to resort to, yes, an online walkthrough. May the Lord bless all those random YouTube channels that always have walkthroughs of every game under the sun, nicely uploaded in HD so that you can track down precisely where you were going wrong. Because oh dear sweet little Jesus, those opening levels of Jedi Outcast are a living hell, and I wouldn't have anything positive to say without them. I mean, jumping off the map onto a pipe that randomly appears and disappears? Who the hell thought that was a good idea? Yes, sometimes you just need a hand, and over time, depending on the genre or predicament, it's become increasingly easy to just check YouTube rather than figure something out for yourself. Number 9. Video game sex. Look, let's just be honest here. Video game sex is fascinating. You've literally got one of the most intimate or otherwise personal acts in human history being rendered digitally with all manner of results. No game has ever managed to get sex right, which is what makes each new contender so appealing. The truth is, nearly everyone engages in the small talk of an RPG or game where sex is a possible outcome just to see what the hell it's gonna look like this time around. If any game features a sex scene in any capacity, you better believe we'll be all over it. The God of War threesome minigame, Heavy Rain's horrifically mannequined hookup between Ethan and Madison, literally every interaction with every squad mate in Mass Effect. We might be able to render the cartilage inside Arthur Morgan's ear, but real human intimacy? That's impossible. Number 8. Crying at a video game. Now, I'm gonna say that the general stigma around both men crying or crying at a game has changed pretty considerably, but there are still a ton of people who just think it's weird to let some tears flow at a game. Whether it's because of the death of a beloved character or just a bittersweet moment, sometimes we are powerless to prevent the floodgates from opening. Yes, life may be more expendable in video games compared to film or TV, but this doesn't mean that we don't become attached to the characters when storytelling is on point. The fact that games are even capable of inspiring this kind of emotional investment from the player is a testament to just how far we've come. And if you disagree, don't let me cry about it. Number 7. Exploiting glitches. Gaming over the last decade may have made leaps and bounds in terms of its artistry, but this certainly doesn't mean the technical side is flawless. Far from it. Games are all too often riddled with bugs, glitches, and imperfections that can be frickin' hilarious and/or frustrating as hell. Now, in generations gone by, the overall level of polish around video games was way higher. Simply because things couldn't be patched if anything went wrong, if you found a glitch or an exploit, it was genuinely something that the devs had probably missed. Many of these resulted in things that you can use to your advantage, and one memorable example was the first Gears of War. Here, everyone was forced to use a certain cover glitch to defeat General Ram on Insane Mode, otherwise you were torn to shreds by his Krill companions. In the modern day though, his scripting breaking would just be expected because you bought the game on day one. Back in the day though, this was our collective ticket to success. Number 6. Loot boxes and microtransactions. For this one, I'm going to talk about the wider gaming populace, because hand on heart, I am yet to purchase a single loot box, crate, supply drop, or whatever the hell else. Even microtransactions, I've literally got down to one purchase of a jacket in Pokemon Go, but at least that game was free, and didn't require additional spending whatsoever. As for what this point is getting at though, clearly massive swaths of the population keep giving in to recurrent spending. Whether an Overwatch loot box, some XP boost, additional skin, or anything in between, our own dear sweet Rach is known to give in to such things on occasion, proving that even the sweetest angels among us can indeed be corrupted too. Of course, far worse than this stuff is anything where you can literally pay to win. Battlefront 2's launch was riddled with this stuff, and Mass Effect 3 had a notably imbalanced multiplayer where the only way to equip your trooper with the best gear was to give in to some FIFA Ultimate Team style card packs. Again though, the only reason these things keep being implemented in the first place is because so many of us keep giving in. Number 5. Picking an overpowered character only you know about. We all play to win, but to maintain some sense of honor in a multiplayer setting, if it's something that you've been playing far more than your friends, means picking a character, weapon, piece of equipment, etc. that should give them a fighting chance. But where's the fun in that? Sometimes you pick the Model 1887s in Modern Warfare 2, the Roll Shotgun Blast in Gears of War, Odd Job in GoldenEye, or Eddie Gordo in Tekken, button mashing your way to victory. It may devalue said victory, but a win is a win. When accused of such dirty tactics, we will always disprove the allegations by saying, look, the developers wouldn't have put this in the game if it's overpowered. Clearly I'm supposed to do this. In our collective hearts though, Julian Gill, we know exactly what we're doing. Number 4. Rage quitting and breaking something. Picture the moment. It's the last game of your first-person shooter of choice before bed, and you just want a win. You've been playing for hours, gritting teeth at every cheap across-the-map kill, and although you can live with the fact that the last guy shot you after you started shooting them, you wouldn't mind regaining your sanity before the end of the session. Spawning again with a refreshing sense of calm, you walk forward, your senses sharpened as you're really gonna give it your best, and, well, you've been shot again. Yes, you've been shot from someone who came from behind in a way that you couldn't possibly have counted. This is the stuff that really makes me see red. The stuff that for me has me punching my leg, speaking exclusively in grunt, and wondering just what the hell I'm doing with my life. There's something in the disconnect between what should be controllable fun and just being dicked on by a global populace that are clearly better than me. I love multiplayer gaming, and it's one of the most fun things I do on a daily basis, until I get killed again. Number 3. Replaying a demo instead of buying the full game. Something more indicative of past generations before demos became more rarer than a worthwhile 2K wrestling game, there was a time when demos were so generous, you could just save your money. A particularly embarrassing example of we gamers exploiting the generosity of a developer though, was the demo for Skate 3. EA of all people generously released a free demo that contained tutorials, 2 large areas from the game, and several challenges, some of which could be played online or in co-op. You had a 20-minute time limit before it reset, but you were free to start over as many times as you wanted. This approach goes for all sorts of FIFA and Pro Evo football demos, where if you're just more of a casual football fan in general who enjoys the game's mechanics more than who you're playing as, the occasional full match afforded by these is more than enough. Hell, I've still got my demo for Puyo Puyo Tetris on Switch because I'm not gonna pay £35 for something I can play for free. Now, the tragic side of this is that Skate 3 was actually a total commercial flop, spelling the end for the series and kinda proving why demos went away for so long. Number 2, the guilty pleasure. Gaming is a far different pastime than what it was about a decade or so ago. The explosion of online play and the integration of social media means that everybody on our friends list knows what we're playing and when we're playing it. Whereas once upon a time it was possible for Josh Brown to hide his copy of The Sims Hot Date, or Jules to continue collecting Dead or Alive beach volleyball, nowadays it's more difficult to hide our guilty gaming pleasures. Thankfully, consoles do offer the facility to hide our online statuses, so Rich and Rage can continue playing Code Vein until the wee hours of the morning. Oh, and as for my guilty pleasure, well, I'm gonna go full Corey Taylor saying he loves Justin Timberlake and say there are no such things. I will proudly buy 3 copies of Deadly Premonition. I will proudly drop £120 on a refurbished Game Boy Advance SP, or blow half a month's wages on the one remaining Polystone statue of Geralt on a Griffin from The Witcher 3. Video game confessions, they are just statements of intent. And number 1, genuinely preferring the company of video games to any social event. We should probably go outside, you know? Keep ourselves in shape at the gym, eat salads and fruit whenever we can, say no to donuts, cakes, and sweets, and just all round live a wholesome, fresh life full of sustenance and healthy things. And whilst I'm all for that, genuinely it does make you feel better the next day, boy does giving in to the occasional gamer indulgence feel spectacular. The annual Call of Duty holiday of Doritos and energy drinks is a ritual of the utmost sloth. I love getting a new game and knowing that the whole weekend is free ahead of you, then just knuckling down with nothing but treats and spare time to get lost in. Another wrinkle to this is having a whole bunch of social plans only for them to fall through, yet secretly you just wanted to play games instead all along. That might be the purest form of bliss. And that is my breakdown of a handful of video game confessions that we ain't very proud of, but I'm sure you've got a whole bunch more that you can share in the comments below. For now, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com. Please check out the WhatCulture Gaming Podcast, and I'll catch you soon.